last week I canceled because my son was sick. So it's actually, oddly enough, funny that we're talking about time blocking. But let's wait 1 more minute and then we'll start the session. All right, it's 2 o'clock and I'm going to start the session here. We're talking about time blocking, which I'm very good at until one of my kids are sick. So if my daughter comes to the session, I apologize. And I want to make it also like, let me see if I can see you guys with the gallery. I can't see you. I'm trying to, let me see if I can see the participant. I guess I cannot. Anyways, okay, so time blocking. I think it's so important in our business to really prioritize and block the time, because otherwise we can get very overwhelmed. And I'm very good at doing that until my kids are sick. So again, I apologize if it's going to be not the perfect session. I just didn't want to cancel after last week. I canceled for the same reason. Okay, so time blocking for me, obviously I'm a mom, so this, can apply to some of you. Maybe some of you are more flexible than me. Usually I try to get all my work done between 9 a.m. till 4:30, 5 p.m. until I get my kids. And then if I need to do more work after, like once they go to bed, then I just catch up to whatever needs to be catch up. But I have to dedicate time for my business and then personal life and balance for my family, which sometimes, I'm not going to lie, I struggle too, because I'm only one person. I can only be in one place at one at a time. Here you go. I see like some of you at least here. So usually I'll just tell you about my schedule and my routine and what I'm blocking the time for. I'm sure you guys doing very similar things. When I first started real estate almost 10 years ago, people always say prospect, block time to prospect. And I do that. So my schedule is I drop my kids at school around 8:30. 9 a.m. I wanted to start my day with a good mindset and clarity, just like a good attitude for the day. So I always exercise. I usually do a quick power walk between 9 and like 9:30, 9:45. And I listen to a podcast. Usually it's about real estate. I actually like Tom Ferry and other real estate like stuff, just to get motivation, learn things that maybe I missed. Like, we talk about CMA a day in some of the other coaching session in Compass, which I never done, and I've been doing this for 10 years. So you always learn. So I like to do my podcast as I'm exercising and, educate myself at the same time while I'm, getting my body in the right mindset and energy. So that's between 9 to like 9:30. Come home, and then about 9:45, I'm in front of my computer, and that's my time blocking to prospect. So I used to go door knock. So in LA, when I did real estate, I door knock between 10 and like noon. Around 2 hours, I just prospect door knock. I don't door knock here in Miami. I do cold calling. So I cold call expired, old cancels, leads, online leads, because I do online leads myself. I do Zillow, I do Google leads. So I call and follow up. So prospecting for me, and I don't check I'm very responsive to emails, but I really try. I work really hard to just not be bothered with emails and something that can distract me from actually focus on trying to get a new client. So between 10 and I would say 12:30, sometimes 1, I just time block to prospect. And right now I'm doing the calling and the follow-up with leads that I receive from, various websites. I think it's so important in our business, and we tend to get really distracted with everything. I personally do not have an assistant to do my showings. I have my team. So it helps me to dedicate the business a little bit so I won't get overwhelmed. But the prospecting for me, I'm the one doing the calls and just trying to get business. Facebook is another way. I'm getting back to Facebook. I haven't been in Facebook in forever because I'm just, in a way, I'm sick of social media, but it's a great way for us to get clients and be out there for free. So I'm back in Facebook. So whether if you also comment and like people Facebook posts, to me, it's considered prospecting, because people will remember, oh, she's in real estate. So whether if I'm doing my cold calling, my social media engagement to prospect, that's literally 2.5, 3 hours at least every day. Again, when I don't have a sick kid at home. So once I've done that, then I do all my follow-up that needed to be done, schedule photography for listings, making sure a transaction is going the right way and things are not missing out and falling between cracks. I do have transaction coordinator that does that stuff, but you never know. I always want to make sure everything is, sometimes I have to babysit people, including my team girls, making sure nobody's making any mistakes. So I do the follow-ups then with the transactions, schedule again, appraisal, inspection, whatever needs to be done, and showings, of course, if I need to go on a showing. So I try to do those between let's say 1 and 4 p.m. 4:30, and then I pick up my kids, and then I'm limited unless I have someone very important that I have to absolutely go and get. And then I have my husband, usually, hopefully. It's hard. As a mother, as a working mom, it's really difficult to do it all, to be honest. But that's my schedule. And I think the key here, and here she is getting into my room. Thank you, Elle. I think the key here is to really prioritize what's important every day, and what needs to get done. So if for me, if there is a transaction that absolutely need attention, I'll prioritize that in my time blocking and get it done, because sometimes we get overwhelmed. We don't know what's important, what's not important. And it's important to know what you really need to do, and not, let just the business and get overwhelmed with all kind of things. So I'm a firm believer with time blocking, and that's my schedule. Now, everybody's schedule can be different. You can go prospect at 6 p.m. on a happy hour, or a group that you are part of. So it all depends on your lifestyle and your whatever family situation and all that, because you could go and do your prospecting again in different times that when I do it, but I cannot go to a happy hour. I used to do it before I was married with kids. I used to go and network a ton. So that's, and also another thing that you have to do, I think, usually with time blocking, make sure to find time to look at inventory. It's very important to know the inventory in the market and know what's new, so you can educate your client. So, and also now with social media, you want a time block, time to do videos, Instagram posts, whatever, TikTok, LinkedIn, because it's a big part of our life. I personally wish I didn't have to do it, but it's a great tool and it's free for all of us to use and get clients. So social media is very important. And it's a job, it's a full-time job to shoot videos, to think about content. I have a social media girl that helps me do all that stuff. I kind of usually Sunday night before the week even start, I send her the post, what I want you to post for my business account and my personal account, because my situation is really different because of the TV show. If in case you didn't watch Selling Sunset, my personal Instagram is very personal, more family and stuff. And here and there I put the real estate in my stories just to remind people, hey, I'm in real estate. My business account is strictly usually real estate. So Sunday, every week, I just send her the content for the following week, so I don't have to worry about it. If you're shooting content, time blocking for that is very important as well. You want to make sure you shoot your content, whether if it's a open house, previewing properties, whatever you need to get done to shoot videos, make sure you have that and time block it for at least once a week to have that lined up, because otherwise it's time consuming. So I do that as well. So my time blocking for me, it's really prospecting is always important. People assume because I'm on a TV show, I just get clients all day long. It's actually not the case. I have to work really hard to build my clientele, especially in Miami. I'm new to Miami, relatively full time here. And I work hard. I used to work hard all the time when I was licensed in LA. The show gives me some credibility and exposure, that's for sure, but it doesn't mean I can just sit back and relax and wait for my phone to ring. It just doesn't happen. I called cancel. I used the show. I'm like, oh, I'm on the show. I've used exposure. Yeah, I use it for my advantage. But that being said, I still have to find those clients. And also, I try to make sure in my time block, okay, I want to do an email blast. My marketing person, I tell her what I want from my email blast to look like. I usually send email blast every 2 weeks. I don't want people to unsubscribe, so I don't get email blast every, other day. So I make sure like I have content for that, and staying organized. And so I think the key is also to do a lot of things in advance. So when you time block, okay, you want to prioritize today. Okay, I need to do email blast. I need to shoot content for social media or whatever, or work on the content. I need to do my, follow up with my leads. That's prospecting. Or I want to go once a week and time block 1 hour for happy hour, mom's group, to me, even like the mom group in my area, like that's basically it's prospecting for me. So I always like to to make sure, okay, this is what I need to get done today. And what I need to do absolutely to make sure my day has been very productive until I get my kids from school. And look, if I cannot prepare a listing agreement or I don't have time to that, and I do it at night after the kids goes to bed and it's quiet and I can focus. But I try to do all this administration stuff. And obviously I'm sure some of you have an assistant. Then I try to do the administration stuff, not really during the day. So it won't be like on my way to get the main thing that we do in real estate, which is get new clients. So I would say really try to think what's important, how you want to start your day, in what mindset you want to start your day. I think mindset is such a big part of our business because, again, we see the reality show. We think it's very easy and we just wear a cute dress and we sell a house. And I wish that was the case. It's really not. So I think it's very important. I see Coco is smiling over there. You mean you're not wearing high heel shoes and we're not just like close on a house and get like 100,000 in commission? It looks very great on the TV show. I wish it was the reality. But I think the mindset is the way to go when you time block. Like the first thing in the morning, what do you do? How you start your morning with? And then it sets your whole day. Now, our business is, every day can be different, right? All of a sudden, you deal with a crazy transaction that require your attention more than calling, potential leads or clients. I'm not saying don't do it, but again, make sure you prioritizing, okay, what absolutely need to get done? Can I wait another hour until I respond to this email? Do I, absolutely need to drop everything and run and save and, put files down, which I had this weekend. I had a crazy little deal, by the way. The little deals are the most pain in the ass. I had like a crazy situation, like literally 2 situations with a deal we were about to close. And the whole weekend I was on the phone trying to save it and it was fine at the end. But what am I going to do? Like, and trust me, Saturday, I'm trying to actually, we always work on the weekend as real estate agent, right? We do open houses, we take clients for showings, and I used to do so many open houses. Another thing for you, I would say, yeah, do open houses. I think it's very important. If you cannot do it every weekend because you want to spend time with your family, that's okay. But maybe at least twice a month, maybe once a month, try to do open houses. I think it's such a great place to meet clients, and it's again free. You don't have to spend a ton of money on marketing. But I try also on my weekend to really like dedicate time for my kids because, when else can I spend time with them? So unfortunately, in our business, it's tough sometimes. The weekdays I can time block and prioritize, but then weekends I really want to try to spend time with them. And then things happen and clients want to see places, and all of a sudden my whole Saturday is like on showings. But it's part of the business. So I want to kind of like go. This is kind of like what my example and what I do. I want to go with you guys. We have 21 people, so it's a very small group, which it's great because people can ask questions and just share about their schedule. So let's open kind of like up for free Q&A, and you can unmute yourself and just go ahead if you have any questions. And if you don't have questions,
I have a question.
Hi, Coco. Okay. Yeah.
Hi, it's really nice to meet you. I'm Coco Harris from the North Shore of Chicago. So I wanted to pop on here because this is something that I have never done before. I've never time blocked. I mean, like, please don't report me back to Chirag. But I am trying to make some changes and be a little bit more intentional. But I cannot figure out how to squeeze this into my day. And so do you pick the same time every day and then just protect it? Like if somebody wants to see a house between 9 and 10 in the morning, you just say, you know what, I'm not available then or whatever. I already have a meeting at that point. I could do 10:30, or are you just so careful with protecting it? And then also in an effort not to get bored from what you're doing in that 1 hour time block, or however much time you allot, do you choose to accomplish something different each day in that time block?
Yeah, so again, like, and that's a business, right? We have to sometimes make exception. I try to be very firm with my time blocking to prospect. That being said, last week I had showings at 10 and 11 a.m. So I made sure, okay, I did my showing, let's say at 10 and 11 a.m., but I still made sure I have that at least 2 hours to do whatever, my follow-up, my prospecting. So maybe I'll start that day between 12 and 2, but I usually try to dedicate at least 2 hours to somehow prospecting. So sometimes you have to be flexible because, our clients don't necessarily have the flexible schedule that we have because they have, 9 to 5 job or whatever circumstance they are. So yeah, I'm trying to be very firm with that, but if it's not really up to me and the client really insists on seeing places in a certain time, I just kind of like switch around the time block hours just to be accommodating. And because look, I'm a person that I have 4 girls on my team. I don't have an assistant that does the showings. I do have a marketing person and then a social media person that helps, and the transaction coordinator I use from Compass when we do a deal. But the showings and everything else, I do. And I like to be there, and I really like to be there. I feel like the clients, they always want, a lot of them hand holding.
They've hired us, whether they're
Exactly.
a buyer or a seller, they've hired us. We need to, I do believe that. We need to be the
Exactly.
ones
And I
there
see
doing
sometimes, yeah, and I see sometimes people with listings, they don't even show, they put it on whatever, they don't even engage with the listing. I'm like, wow, how did that person get a listing? So I am flexible with that if I have to. I used to know time block either. It's kind of like, okay, whatever the day bring, and let me see what I need to get done today. But then I realized if I'm not going to be on the phone or be out there meeting new people, like, how am I going to get clients? Like, sure, I get leads from Zillow, I get Google leads, but I need to also be in person or do the cold call for those that cancel and expired listing, because those people are somewhat motivated to sell. If you're curious how I get their numbers, I just do white pages. I use and sometimes it's, you get wrong number, but sometimes you can get, it's pretty accurate. But yeah, if I need, again, to your point, we sometimes have to be flexible. As much as I want to be like, no, I'm not doing anything between 11 till 1. Sometimes I had to. I did a final walk. Well, today my daughter was sick, so really that screws me completely. I made 0 calls. I can barely send an email, but if let's say I have to do a final walk or an inspection or whatever, and so I try to do it maybe early in the day, like 10, and then I'll call between 11 and 1. So kind of like work around that, but a lot of the time I'm just trying to do everything after 1 p.m. because sometimes it's just my energy is getting lower and I want to make sure I'm calling with full force, full energy to people or whatever I do to prospect. Because, sometimes after 2, 3 p.m. I'm like, just like the energy level goes down for me, and then I have to pick up the kids and then I'm completely distracted. But yeah, I mean, look, I think just sticking up to a schedule in general will be helpful. And then if you need to like change and do other things, do it, because you want to close the deal. You don't want to just tell them, no, I'm not doing showings because I have to call, Joe Schmo because his listing expired yesterday. You can call him after your showings as well. So it really depends on your schedule and the current situation. But yeah, I mean, I was like, since like New Year's, honestly, New Year's was my technically one of my goals to really like start the day with a workout. And then here, I think I'm getting a Zillow call.
right now.
I'm literally, I'm tempted. I mean, I'm going to get this. Okay, hold on. I have to get this call. Hold on. Hello?
Hi, this is the Zillow Connections team. Press 1 if you're free to talk to a buyer. Great. You accepted.
Let's see what they say. Can you hear, by the way, the call?
Yeah.
I'll just tell them.
They are inquiring on Zillow.
Let's see the
address, 801 South Miami Avenue, Unit 3008, Miami.
Decent budget.
33130.
With Zillow, you never know. That's the thing. I'm going to tell them I'm going to be on a Zoom.
Properties nearby. We just sent you the details. Press 1 when you're. Thanks.
Let's see how we generate leads too.
Alex here. I'm connecting you to a local agent now.
Hello.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello, how are you, Maya?
Yes, yes. I'm actually in the middle of like a Zoom call, but can I call you back? I saw that you were looking at the SLS unit.
Exactly. Okay,
Perfect. Give me a couple of, yeah, give me like maybe 20 minutes and I'll call you back.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Have a good one. Bye. Bye. Sorry, guys. Zillow used to be more busy and now they're kind of slow. So if I don't get that call, like some other agent gets it. So another thing with real estate, be available, answer your phone. Actually with Zillow, I have like a certain budget to my team girls. And then after a certain budget, it's me. So I know it's decent. Yeah, okay, they connected me. So it's fine. I'll just call them after the session. But wish me luck. That's the thing with leads, by the way. We can follow up, they can ghost us, you're like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden they can reappear. You never know. So another thing is follow up, part of time blocking. Don't forget that old lead. I actually use Compass CRM for that. I do the task. I think it's very helpful. So use Compass tools too. I mean, I use their collection. I use everything in that manner.
Can I see you jump in with a
Sure.
question about
Hi,
that? Okay,
Julie.
so you just got, hi, from Greenwich, Connecticut. You just got a Zillow call, okay? The key to those leads is that you have to pick them. I don't do that, and I
Yes, they changed
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But you have to pick it up when they call. So the
Yeah.
strictest time block people would say your phone shouldn't even be with you, and then you would have missed that.
Right.
So how do you
So-
balance that?
So yeah, so with Zillow, like my phone will be next to me, right? But if I see that it's nothing important, like, my friends sometimes call me in the middle of the day, like I don't answer the phone. I don't just do like chit chat stuff just because I'm bored. Like, but if I see if it's a potential lead, like Zillow, I know their number, so I'll get that phone because that's, to me, it's part of prospecting. It's a new lead, it's a new connection. So I do pick up the phone if it's like a Zillow connection. Look, I mean, I get a lot of phone calls that a lot of them also spam. You never know if it's a client or not a client. And if they leave a voicemail, I would assume it's important. Or if they shoot me a text, then I can at least know, okay, I need to call that person back. But yeah, a lot of the time, the 2 hours I might not be available. But with our online leads, I try to always answer if I'm next to the phone and I see the phone call. I mean, even with you guys, I think technically it's rude to pick up the phone, but we are all in the same business and it's Zillow, and I pay a lot of money for Zillow. They became very expensive. So, so I do that. But yeah, it's a good point. Look, I don't try to take personal calls unless, again, it's like the kids' schools or whatever. But stuff like that, important stuff, yeah, I'll definitely I'll get the phone, I'll answer the phone. Want to make sure people have questions.
I won't tell
Yeah.
Chirag that you said that.
They answer the phone. Does he say that not to answer the phone? You just
I can't say what Chirag says. I know there are certain people, I've never been able to successfully time block, and I start with a long list, and sometimes it's only half done at the end of the day, but other new things happened. And I've often thought if I did time block, I would have a more up-to-date CRM, or I would make sure that I stayed really on top of my collections if I blocked 20 minutes to check every single one
and that's
but the
thing,
rigidity of that schedule becomes really hard for me. And
it's
the
tough.
really strict time block people would say your phone should be sitting with your assistant, and like you should have zero distractions unless it's truly an emergency. That's
No,
what
it's
diehard people say.
It is tough, and yeah, exactly. And I follow up with that method. I try at least to follow up, but again, like Coco, like you, something sometimes happens. So I'm not going to tell you like be religious completely about it, but I agree. I saw Diana made a comment. Some distraction can set you back, and I completely agree with that. Like little text, little distraction can just, like get us from the focus. I noticed that if I don't answer the phone, except Zillow, it takes me away from the focus of like, I was just calling that cancel listing. I gotta know, I'm going to call the next one. I exchange numbers with them. Maybe I'll set up an appointment. So those little distractions are annoying. It's hard. And I saw another person ask about the CRM. CRM is another thing for me that honestly I need to time block. I need to organize my CRM. I know people were talking about it a lot. I have over like 2,500 people on my CRM. I'm like, how do I even start? I mean, I have Zillow from 5 years ago that I need to get rid of. So I was actually talking to potential having an assistant to just do it for me, because when am I going to have time? Collection is another thing. I have collections with clients and I use the collection, but I feel like sometimes part of also time blocking is like go to the inventory, quickly see a listing, maybe make a comment. So the person will think it's a little bit more personal. They're just like automatic research. You can just say like, I love this unit or whatever, the house, it's a great location, just to show them a little bit more personal touch than just put it on an automatic, collection search. Because I think people have to feel special. And even if you make like a quick comment, that's something. Or, like another thing that you need to do in your time blocking is reach obviously your past client. And the CMA day, for instance, that's time consuming, because you have to sit there, you have to, check your recent, inventory, what's sold, what's active, what's pending, send them the link or whatever. I mean, I'm old school. I actually print the stuff. I mail it to them because I want to make sure like they have more special touch. So that's another thing that I'm doing on my time block. I do 1 or 2 a day, whether if it's someone that a past client of mine that, did well with the purchase and I want to show that, hey, look, the market is amazing. Or whether if it's someone that scanned my QR code with a mailer that I send, because it says scan my QR code for market analysis, and then it's sent to my website, but they never register. So if I have their information, then last week I actually dropped 2 of them in like, I pull up the address for whoever scanned my code. I'll drop it at their house, but it's all time consuming. So that was so besides prospecting, like the CMA a day for me, or the 2 CMA, whatever, the little personal touch to a potential client, that's something that's it's time consuming and I dedicate the time for. So I think just stick to a schedule. Like you start your day, let's say whatever, 8 a.m., whatever you have to do, drop the kids, or if you know kids, exercise. And then like, what do you do between 9 and whatever, 5? How does your day look like? Okay, if you have an inspection and appraisal at like noon, what do you do before? What do you do after? Are you going to dedicate 1 hour to do your 2 CMA a day to send your past clients? Are you going to go to the Starbucks and have a coffee and, I don't know, talk to people? It's just important what you prioritize, and everybody have different schedule and life. So obviously you don't have to follow my schedule. I'm trying to follow my schedule as much as I can. And obviously like you, like I have things all of a sudden that pop up and now everything is kind of like messed up a little bit. But I know it can get very overwhelmed because, look, not all of us have an assistant. It helps me to have a social media girl and my marketing person, but it's still for me to send my social media girl, I need to send her the content, or the marketing person, I need to send her like, okay, this is what I want to send this week on my email blast. This is what I want to do to my mailer. So it's also time consuming. So everybody are different, and if you have an assistant, it might be a little bit easier. But even for me, if I had full-time assistant, I would still have to tell her what I need to do. And sometimes it's just easier to do it versus tell someone what to do, in my case, at least. But I want to open up for a little bit more questions if you guys have comments or. Diana, hey.
Hi. Oh, I just sighed. So I was going to say that there was a study done that when you pick up a text on your phone and you're busy doing something, it sets you back like 15 minutes to get your phone
15,
back to what you were doing. So it's kind of interesting that every time we look at our phone or respond to a text or do something, we lose about 15 minutes of focus time on whatever task we were doing.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised.
No, it's just really interesting. So anything that drags you away from what you're doing probably takes a while for you to settle back in, which is why, Julie, you said you got to shut off your phone. And I think Chirag sort of is of that persuasion as well, that, shut it off or put it on silent so you don't.
Yeah, I try to put my phone like upside down usually when I do the prospecting, if I do the cold calling. Because I agree with you, like a little distraction can really set you back and just distract for your focus. And I found out, for me, I love to be productive. So I love to really stick to my schedule and my time blocking. I feel great by the time I pick up the kids. I feel like I've done it and I accomplished something. And then I can be a mom for a couple of hours until either I go to bed with them, or if I have to do like whatever I need to do, like at 9 p.m. after. But I agree with you, Diana. I agree.
So it's probably best to try and minimize the distractions.
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
really, I know it's a problem for me. So I do try and I don't look at it till 10 o'clock in the morning, because a lot of people send me texts at 10, 11 at night.
I actually shut my phone off, by the way. I shut my phone. I
Yeah.
go, I just go to, like, usually before I go to bed, I just read a little bit like the news, just catching up, see what's happening in the world. I don't go on social media at night. I can care less. I try to engage with people because, again, that's part of our business, but I don't usually check it. I just read the news, and then I just shut my phone off. My phone is completely off, not even on silent.
Right.
And then I,
Your
shut
kids
it
are
back
little,
on.
Maya. Your kids are little.
And
That'll
I have a
change.
2.5. Look, I'm pregnant
When,
now. I'm 7
when you're
months
home in bed
pregnant.
and they're still out, you won't turn your phone off.
That's very true. That's very true. That's why during the day when they're not in bed.
Oh.
So I totally agree with you. Again, everybody have different circumstances. Because like for me, I need to have my phone next to me in case like yesterday when they called me, oh, your daughter is sick, come pick her up. And I'm like, no. And I had the whole day, like I was going to plan my day and I was so excited. And then by 8 p.m. I'm like, I haven't done any belly work stuff that I need to get done, except dealing with that last transaction that we closed, which was a mess. Which my associate wanted to give the buyer the keys before we got the official closing, and then the closing was delayed, so it was a huge craziness from the seller side. Anyways, as I was in the gymboree with my kids trying to enjoy them. But yeah, I agree with you, Julie. Look, I mean, to your point, but for now they're leaders, so yeah, my phone is shut off at night, and then in the morning I shut it back on. I wake up early. I think it's another thing. If you can get up early in the morning, kind of like, feel like you're being productive. I used to, gosh, when I was younger, I used to like sleep until 8, 9 a.m., whatever. But now I'm like usually 6:30, I'm already up. I think, where did I hear that? In one of the other coaching sessions. Oh, whatever you wake up, get up an hour earlier. Oh, it was Tom Ferry. It's like, okay, I'm not going to get up at 5 because, like my nights are not that smooth with 2 kids. But yeah, it says like whatever you set your hour to get up 1 hour earlier. But I think just in general with time blocking, I would highly recommend time block for yourself, whatever 1 hour you do, exercising, meditation, mindset. It doesn't matter what time it is. If you want to start it in the morning, if you want to do it in the middle of the day, that's very important. Time block for yourself also. What if you do it once a week? Self-care, I don't know, acupuncture, get your nails done, massage, whatever you need, just self-care. Also very important for us. Don't forget that, because we tend to just like forget that, we are important. So self-care as well once a week. And then prospect, it's our business. Unfortunately, we have to chase people. Do I like chasing people and beg them for business? No, but it's part of the business and I'm doing it. Like everybody else, with or without a TV show. So prospect whenever you can. I mean, time block it for that, whether again, if you do it in the morning or you do it in the afternoon, but really try to stick to a schedule. I mean, look, I agree with Chirag. I mean, yeah, in ideal world, let's shut the phone for 2 hours and whatever you do. When I used to door knock, I wasn't on my phone for 2 hours, just like door knocking and giving like market analysis. And now when I was doing the cold calling for all these like old expired cancel, I was trying to really not be on my phone either. But again, to Coco's point, sometimes we have to be somewhere and it is what it is. But all I can say is that I'm trying to stick to it, me personally. And it's so far it's working, again, with the exception of a sick kid at home.
That's amazing, Maya.
Oh, hi, Giselle. How are you doing?
Good. Now I was just thinking, our business, we are the business. So like, it's very hard. You have to set time for yourself. And I used to do the gym till I had surgeries. And I have to get back to that because that setting in the morning was so important. Like that hour, I could always do it. Now I do get up early, 5 o'clock, whatever, and that's a good time to be productive. But I don't time block for prospecting. So I know that I need to do that. But I feel like Coco, like if I get a call and they need me, I'm always like this. And that's the part about real estate is I'm always on edge. And this thing keeps you on edge. And
Totally.
that's the
We're
balance.
addicted to it.
The balance of trying,
yeah.
So this is very good to hear because I think we all struggle because I show my listings most of the time. I had agents last week. I had 50 showings in 3 days. And I was there and they go, why didn't you just have a 3-hour open house and let us come and go? I go, this is my client's home. They live here. I can't just let you run rampant through the house. I said, I'll run my business the way I want. These weren't from our company. So, it's a challenge. I mean, I love it, like you said, but I'm glad to hear everything you had to say. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. And I look, I try to, in a way, like I don't try to I mean, I'm pretty good with multitasking, but yeah, you lose something. But at least when I work out, for me, yeah, you can listen to your favorite music. For me, when I work out, I listen at least to some educational podcast, whatever, like some motivation coaching. Because then again, like I work at the same time, I work on my body and then I work on my mindset and I learn something. Like they talk about, let's say with the coaches, they talk about, and by the way, I have the whole playbook for Chirag that I still need to catch up and listen to that. But at least I learned something as I am about to start my day, whether if it's what do you tell to a client or how do you new ways to do marketing and all these kind of things. So at least when I work out, I try to be productive and with educational as well. And then I can try to obviously set my day for more success because, like I get a lot of buyers leads. That's how I started my business in Miami before even the show, because we moved to Miami and I literally started from scratch. I knew 0%. So I was like, what do I do? How do I even get clients? So I do online leads and I get buyers and it's great. But we all know in this business, the key to success is really listings. So, and the buyers are all over the place, especially with low inventory and the rates are high. You don't know what they want to do. Then they want to rent. So like, I'm tired of this. Like I want to work with buyer, but I want to get listings. So how am I going to get listings? So one way for me is like to pick up the phone and call, expired and cancel. I personally don't call the fresh expireds because everybody calling them and they're already sick of you by the time. So I actually called the one from like 3 months ago, 6 months ago, if they didn't release, because then nobody called them anymore and you kind of like maybe have a better chance. So I actually look at the last, 3 months to 6 months to even a year, by the way, because maybe last year they were like, oh, we don't want to sell, but maybe now. So try to even look at old cancel, old withdrawal, and old temp expires, not necessarily the fresh ones, because maybe they got burned, they took a break, and maybe 7 months later they're ready again. So try to do that as well. That's another tip I would say. By the way, Maya, look at your background. It's really like LA. I mean, it's like feels like home to me. Hopefully you guys are not freezing. LA had like snow the other day, like the valley.
No, actually it has been raining abundantly for the last 2 months. So everything is green. It's magical.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, because LA can get very dry. You go in Beverly Hills, you have like this dry path all of a sudden, or Santa Monica. I'm like, whoa, it looks like we're in the desert. And LA needs the rain. So I'm glad it's you guys got a little bit of that. But all my friends in LA complain that it's like freezing and this and that. I mean, Coco would tell you freezing, come to Chicago my husband is from Chicago, so I know freezing. He took me there on Thanksgiving. I'm like, no thanks. But any other questions? Look, I mean, at the end of the day, our schedule is not perfect. We want to make it perfect. But it's again, at least in our business, try to find time for new clients. That's important, and for yourself. I'm surprised I managed to do the session with my daughter here without actually distraction from her. I was really worried. I was going to message Tiffany this morning. I'm like, I have another sick kid. I don't want to cancel the session. What do I do? But I felt really bad to cancel it from last week. By the way, that's part of the reason I like the sessions now, because usually I would do the session after I already like prospect a little bit, after I maybe went to like a quick final walkthrough and all that, and then I'm coming and doing the coaching. So it's actually a perfect time for me to do those sessions. And it's not like in the morning, to Diana's point, which we get distracted and it's just the mindset is just different. You're very welcome, Giselle. And yeah, you know, obviously I said you surgeries, but maybe a little bit Pilates, you know, take it easy on your body. I used to teach Pilates too, by the way. I'm a certified Pilates instructor. So I used to do that. Yeah, it's crazy because we moved from LA and that was before the show. And I was like, okay, how am I going to do real estate? It's going to take me forever to sell something because I'm starting from zero. And I took my Pilates certification in the meantime, and then took me forever to get the certification. And in the meantime, I already started selling real estate. So it's actually funny that real estate was easier than getting this Pilates certification. But anyways, that's just another side story. I know Pilates. Yeah, next time we'll do a session. We'll do a Pilates class. But anyways, yeah. Well, nice to meet you all of you.
Thank you
I
so
love
much.
Compass. Yeah, I joined in June and I really love them. Although the fees got increased a little bit, but that's okay. We'll suck it up. I know transaction fee, all kind of like what? But anyways, other than that, I love it. So
Thank
you're
you.
very welcome, everyone, and have a great day. And I'll
You
see you in the
too.
next session, hopefully.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Maya.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.